Hello everyone, I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you for joining today's problem solving session. I think now it's already past 7, so we can start the session. And whoever will be joining in between the session, I will be admitting them to the session. So let me share my screen. Okay, so slides are visible to all of you.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, so let me admit the third one. So here now three people have joined. Okay, three have joined. Fine. So I think in the last session Rajesh was not there.
Yes, sir. I am not.
Okay, okay,
I have not attended that.
okay. So here it will be the problem solving session and also kind of discussion session, and this will be based on the lectures of week 2 that you might have already seen and completed the assignment. So we will be discussing some of the sample problem questions based on the week 2 content of the course on architectural approaches to decarbonization of buildings. And I'm Sudhir Kumar Gupta, and I will be taking this problem solving session like last week. And all of you can join this problem solving session each week on the same timing, 7 to 9 p.m. on Tuesday, via Google Meet link as shown in front of you all. So let's begin to the today's session. And first of all, we will be solving some of the simple problem questions. Then we will be proceeding to the important last year questions, assignment questions that are very important from the exam point of view. So here is the questions that I will be projecting. Try to give all of you try to participate in this problem solving session and revise the previous week content and give your answers in the chat box so that we can discuss it and see where our preparation is going on as compared to the others. So here is the first question based on the week 2 lecture 1 content. So, what is the India's committed target for achieving net zero emissions? So, India has proposed that he will be or India will be achieving the net zero emissions. So, what was the estimated target by the end of which year it will be accomplished? Try to give answer.
2057.
Okay, so all of you try to give your answer in the chat box so that all of answers I can accept, and then if there will be no doubt with the question, then we can proceed. Otherwise, if we will be getting different answers, then we will be discussing it here. So whoever wants to give their answers, they can give their answers in the chat box. So Rajesh has given his answer. Let others read and complete and give their answers. So choose the options wisely. What should be the most appropriate answer for this particular question? Question number 1. So others also try to give your answers. As I can see, we are having 3 members. Out of that, Rajesh has only given the answer. Let's wait 1 more minute for others to complete. Otherwise, I will be discussing the answer. Farid is there and Abdul is also there. Okay, let me project the question again for all of you then. Yeah, so Abdul is also supporting 2050. I have received 2 answers for 2050. Fine. Okay, so the correct answer for this question is not 2050. That is option A, whichever you are mentioning. It is the wrong answer. The correct answer for this question is option B 2017. So in the lecture 4, in the introduction only, or the first lecture of week, I should say in the first lecture of week second, in the introduction when it was given to you, that it was explained that India has committed to achieving net zero carbon emissions by the end of the year 2070, and this announcement was made at the COP26, that the conference of parties meeting that was held 26, this was discussed. So can you all recall that COP26, it was discussed that in the year 2070 the estimated or the net zero carbon emission target was made. 2070 is the right answer for this question number 1. Everybody is fine with the answer, then we can proceed to the second question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks sir. Then it is the second question then for all of you, and try to give answer to this second question also. Which of the following is not a strategy for low carbon development in electricity systems? So when you are trying to develop low carbon electricity systems, so which of the following you will not be choosing, or which of the following is not a good strategy? So try to give answer to this question also in the chat box. Question number 2, read all the 4 options carefully and choose the best option. It is directly asking you which is not a strategy for low carbon development in electricity system. Mm, Let me admit the fourth candidate of today's session. Okay, so today's attendance is 4 till now. So here is the question number 2. All of you try to give your answer in the chat box. Out of the 4 options, which option you think to be the suitable one after going through the lecture 4, first lecture of week 2, I should say. Anyone wants to give their answer or knows the answer? Okay, I have received answer from Rajesh. Others also try to choose the correct option that you think to be the most suitable one, because such kind of objective questions will be asked in your final examination. So I think others don't know the. Okay, Farid has now given the answer, as I can see. So I've received the 2 answers till now, and both of them have opted option 4. So option B, and option B is the right answer for this particular question number 2. And as you can see that other strategies whichever is mentioned in option A, like expanding the renewables or focusing on demand side measures or exploring low carbon technologies, all these systems they are a strategy for low carbon development. But the option B, which is strengthening fossil fuel based energy, this is not a good strategy or a low carbon development strategy in the electricity system. The strategy includes rational utilization of fossil fuels, though that is not strengthening their use, and the focus remain on the renewables and energy efficiency. That's why the option B can be discarded out of the 4 options. So both of you are absolutely correct. Let's move to the third question then. Here is the third question for you all, and try to give answer to the third question as well, like you given to the previous question. What is a key strategy to achieve low carbon transportation? If you are trying to reduce the carbon emissions from the transportation sector, so what would be your suggestion, or what strategy you will be choosing? Okay, we have one answer from Rajesh and Farid also. So as I can see, two of you have given the answer C. Okay, and option C is the right answer for this particular question. Both of you are absolutely correct. So as it was also discussed in the lecture, like promoting the public transport and electric mobility is a key part of India's low carbon transportation strategy. That's why, okay, I think now we have the fifth candidate with us, Aswani. She has also joined. So now five people have joined today. Fine. So the option C was the correct answer, and it was the correctly answered by both of you. So let's move to the next question then. Question number 4. Here is the question number 4 in front of you all. Try to give answer to this question as well in the chat box. Then we will be discussing at the end of the session. Question number 4. What is the climate responsive and resilient building design strategy? So whoever are answering, try to mention your answer as 4.A or 4.B or 4.C, so that it will be better to understand for which question you have given the answer. So mention the question number first, then dot, then the option number. So it would be easier to know which question's answer you have given. So climate responsive resilient building design is a part of which strategy? So as I can see, most of you have already answered to this question, question number 4, based on your understanding about the course, and all of you have given the answer C. All of you have chosen answer C as the correct answer, and option C is the correct answer for this question, because sustainable urbanization and energy efficiency strategy includes promoting climate responsive building design and efficient urban planning. Therefore, it can be the appropriate option out of the 4 options given below. So let's move to the fifth question then. I think everyone is fine with the answers and they've given the correct answer for this question. Here is the fifth question. This is a bit tricky question. Try to give answers to this also, but don't be in hurry. Read the question carefully and all the 4 options. So let me admit to the 6th candidate today. First of all, someone wants to join. Here will be the 6th one. Okay. So 6th candidate we have admitted till now. Let me show the question again. So here is the question number 5. What does the term economy wide decoupling refer to, or what do you understand by this economy wide decoupling? So who have gone through the lectures slides very well, then they must be knowing or able to relate to the options, and try to give the answers. Let me see how many of you are able to understand the question and appreciate the beauty of the question by giving the correct answer. So here with us, for the fifth question we have received 3 answers from 3 different persons, and all of them are saying that option C is the correct answer for this question, question number 5, that is ensuring economic growth without increasing emission is the correct answer which refer to the economy wide decoupling, and this is the correct answer also, since we know that economy wide decoupling means promoting growth while reducing carbon emissions through technologies or through innovations, so which is well explained by the option number C. So all of you are correct. So let's move to the next question then. Question number 6. So CCUS, this is very popular terminology you will come across when you are dealing with the carbon emission, carbon energy utilization. So who are working in the field of carbon, so they will be going through this CCUS term very frequently. So try to understand what does the short term CCUS stands for. How many of, let's see how many of you know about CCUS very well. Yes, I can see some of you have Farid was the first to give the answer. Suni, Abdur, and Rajesh. Four of you have given your answers. So others also who have joined, they can see that we have received four answers for these questions, and all of them are supporting option C. So let us see whether option C is the correct answer or not. So option C, all of you are absolutely correct. Option C is the correct answer for this particular question. That is, CCUS is a technology for capturing CO2 from the atmosphere or point sources and storing or using it. So based on the technology that it is referring to, the CCUS is named as carbon capture, utilization and storage. Option C was the correct answer and all of you were right. So let's move to the next question then. Question number 7, but I think question number 7 is not there. So only 6 sample problems were there based on the lecture 1 of week 2. So here we will be now solving some of the questions based on our understanding on the lecture 2 of week 2. So here's the first question from lecture 2 of week 2 series. Try to give answer to this question, and in meanwhile let me admit to the 7th member of our today's problem solving session, Rama. Okay, so I have admitted him. Let me project the question again. So here is the first question from lecture 2 of week 2 series. Try to give your answers in the chat box, and then we can discuss if someone is missing some concept or giving the wrong answer, and if you are correct then we can move to the next question. Waste heat recovery, this term you will be going through in frequently in various stages of your research work or studies. The waste heat recovery, it is randomly used in the industries, also frequently used in the this academics also. So what does the waste heat recovery systems mentions, or how they contribute to the energy innovation strategy? I hope most of you have known about it. So any one of you wants to give answer to this question number 1? Okay, now after the more brainstorming, we have got one answer. Another also, both of them have given together. Earlier, none of them was giving. Fine. So let's then wait for others also to do a bit of brainstorming and then accept the answer of there also. Till now, two people have answered. So this is more or less related to the, I should say, mechanical concept also. In thermal power plants, they try to utilize or the uh, energy resources where heat or thermal energy is there, so they try to utilize the waste heat, and they call the system as waste heat recovery systems. So this is done for what purpose? So as I can see from here, that Rajesh and Farid, they have given option B as the correct answer. They have chosen it, and other, they are in other phase. So let me discuss this particular question. So option B is the correct answer for this question. Whoever have marked option B as the answer, they are absolutely correct. Since you might be knowing that the flue gases are also the gases which are basically getting exhausted. They are also containing some sort of heat. So instead of heating the our fluid or water, you can say, the initially from the zero from the base temperature to the required temperature, we utilize the flue gas emissions temperature to recover or to extract some of the heat of it, and to give some initial heat to the our actual primary fluid. That's why we call it as a waste heat recovery. Means all the flue gases that was getting emitted, emissions was happening, those flue gas heat we have actually utilized and recovered, you can say, to provide initial heating to the primary fluid. That's why waste heat recovery system utilizes flue gas have been mentioned in option B. Everybody got the answer? With the help of this or doing this waste heat recovery system, then the actual requirement for the coal, you can say, or the heating source, it will be now decreased, because we have already heated the fluid to the some temperature levels. That's why now only less amount of energy will be required to again heat the system to the required level. The flue gases or the emissions cannot heat the fluid, primary fluid, to the required temperature, but they can heat up to certain temperature, and that heat we can utilize, and overall it will be contributing to the improving the energy efficiency of the system. So all of you are able to understand the concept behind this waste heat recovery system, and option B is the correct answer. Everybody is satisfied with the answer? Okay, so anybody is having any doubt, or can I be proceed to the next question? Can we move to the next question, or any
Yes, sir.
okay? Thank you for your response. So without wasting the time, let's go to the next question. Then question number second. Here is question number second. So what does the adaptation policy cycle under UNFCCC not include? So read the all of the four options correctly, then try to give answer to this question. So any one of you, first of all, knows what is the full form of UNFCCC? What is mentioned here? Then if he or she knows the full form of UNFCCC, then he can easily understand all the four options and choose the correct answer. So which one is the what is the full form of this UNFCCC?
Sir, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change.
Yeah, absolutely correct. So based on the agency, you try to answer that what policy has not been included under UNFCCC. So let I can see that we have received several answers for this question number 2. Let me see how many of you have answered and what you have answered. So as I can see, everyone is choosing option C for this question number 2, and option C is the correct answer for this question number 2. All of you are absolutely correct. As all of you know that this adaptation policy cycle under UNFCCC includes or focuses on assessment, planning, implementation and evaluation, but it does not focuses on the luxury consumption subsidies. That's why option C got eliminated. Fine. Then let's move to the next question, question number 3. Here is question number 3 for all of you. Then try to give answer to this question again. Question number 3 in the chat box. What is the core objective of the mission life initiatives? So read the question carefully and give your answers. Let me project the question. So it is question number 3. Some of you are giving for answer 2. Second question we have passed. Try to give your answers, all of you. Then if some of you are having doubt, then we will be discussing this question in detail. As I can see, many of you have already given the answer, and what option you have opted, let me check. So for third question number 3, all of you have opted option C. That is the core objective of mission life initiative is encourage deliberate and mindful resource use, and all of you are absolutely correct. Option C is the correct answer for this question, that mission life basically promotes the sustainable lifestyle focusing on reducing waste and mindful use of the natural resources, which was well explained in concise manner in option C. That's what all of you have mentioned and chosen. So let's move to the fourth question. Then here is the fourth question from lecture 2 series. Yeah, this is very straightforward question. If you know the numbers and the data, then you can easily answer to this question. And the question is framed based on the lecture slides of week 2, lecture 2. So you can refer to them also. Parallelly you can open to the lecture slides also, and you can revise the lectures and practice the sample problems. So based on that, you try to answer to this question, question number 4. Let's see how many of you can answer it correctly and mention your answers in the chat box. Let's see how many of you have answered. Okay, so for the fourth question, now none of you have answered. All of you are thinking, and we are having 6 participants. I think 1, 2, 3 left. 6 participants left. 3, 3, 6. So out of 6, try to recall and give the suitable answer, then we can discuss it later on. Out of the four options, which option is the appropriate one? What percentage of India's 2016 greenhouse gas emission was due to carbon dioxide? Any one of you wants to add an answer to this question, or you can refer, you can open to the slides. So let me ask one thing, all of you know how to uh, see the slides of the particular lecture of the course? All of you are able to download the slides or not? So all of you are able to download the slides of the lecture after the week or not? Okay, so Farid is saying that he is able to download, so you can download it and read it also instead of watching the lecture and finding the things again and again. So you can refer to it. So he has given the answer as well for D. If you are able to download the question, this slides of the lecture, then you can refer to the slide number 4. You can refer to the slide number 4 of week 2 lecture 2. Then you can get the answer of this question. So let us check for someone who don't know the things how to download. So when you will be opening the link, then you can see my courses, and from there you can go to course. Then here you can downside, you can see here is the lecture notes for week 1. So for week 1 lecture notes have been uploaded. For week 2 they have not done the things yet, fine, but once it get uploaded then you can refer. From here you can see the transcript as well, English transcript or book. So here a problem solving session recording will be there, and survey on problem solving session approaches too. So you can provide your valuable feedback or survey also for this session that we are conducting. So let me show it for the week 1. So from week 1 you can see when you will be going for notes, you can download the notes or lecture slides of week 1 easily from here, and all these are the slides as you can see. Okay, so I think now it is clear. So let's move to the question session then. So for particular question number 4, I have received only one answer, that to be from Farid. He has opted for option D, but option D is not the correct answer for this question. The correct answer for this question is option B, that is 78.59% according to the data, and you can also refer to the lecture 2 after the class, or once the slide get uploaded you will be getting it on slide 4, that CO2 emission contributed to almost 78.59% of the India's greenhouse gas emissions profile in the year 2016. Okay, so can we move to the next question then? Okay, so this is fine. Here is the next question then. Try to give answer to this as well. How much did India reduce its emission intensity of GDP between 2005 to 2016? So all of you try to give your answers in the chat box. Let's see how many of you can give it correctly. Anyone? No? Yeah, now Rama has answered. Fine. All others also try to give your answers and try to recall, because this is not only the problem solving session, this is also kind of revision to the various things that you have studied throughout the week. So this is a revision session, so try to recall the things, whether you have studied this or not, or you have studied in which lecture that I am telling you. Let me admit to the eighth candidate then, today's eighth candidate who wants to join the session. Yeah, fine. So as I can see, only one person has given the answer and he is very confident. Rest of them, they are okay. Abdur is also given. Yeah, so similarly try to give your answer. There is nothing to judge or nothing to give marks. Just it is a discussion interactive session. So all of your participation is very important. As I can see, two of you have given the answer and kept your point of view for this question number fifth, and I will tell that both of you have given the correct answer. It is 24%. So it is 24%. India reduced its emission intensity of GDP between 2005 to 2016, which was mentioned in lecture second of week 2. Okay, then let's move to the next question. Question number 6. Yeah. So what was the target of India's renewable energy capacity expansion? So India has targeted, India had targeted, I should say, to expand its renewable energy capacity expansion by 2020. So how much they were targeting? How much gigawatt? Let's see how many of you can answer. So as I can see, most of you are opting for option B, and very few of you are opting option C. Let's see who is correct and others answer also. Let's see. So we are talking about the initial target of India, which was made for 2022. So as I have received different answers for this particular question, some of you are saying C, some of you are saying B, but only one ballpark number or the one figure was given to all of you while the lecture was taught in the week 2 series. So option C is the correct answer for this question number 6. That is, India aimed for 175 gigawatt of renewable energy capacity by 2022, and later the target has increased to nearly about, you can say, 500 gigawatt, or 450 to 500 gigawatt, but initially the target was 175 gigawatt, which was made for the year 2022. So option C, whoever have marked, is the correct answer for the particular question number 6. Is it fine? Can we move to the next question? Option C is the correct answer. Okay, so I think it is fine. We can move to the next question. If somebody is still having doubt with the answer, then he or she can speak and discuss. I think none of you are having any doubt. It was very straightforward question. Just you have to recall. So let's move to the seventh question then. So this you must have studied and you can recall it. Which program contributed to the distributing of LED bulbs and energy efficient fans in India? Under which scheme or under which program? Swachh Bharat, PMAY, Bharat LED program, या Ujjwala scheme. So this was also well discussed in the class. So many of you can recall it and give your answers, and who cannot recall, then they can wait for the discussion. Let's see how many of you can recall which is the correct answer for this question number 7. For this question number 7, whenever you are answering, as I told, try to mention the question number first, then give your answer. It will be easier to understand which question you are answering. So I can see for 7.C, 7.C, C. So most of you have opted for option C, and option C is the correct answer, absolutely correct answer for this question number 7. That is, under Ujjwala scheme, millions of LED bulbs and fans were distributed, which resulted in a significant carbon emission reduction. So all of you are correct. So let's move to the next question and let's see how many of you know the term carbon sequestration, that you must have studied, and what do you understand by that. Out of the 4 options, what should be the more suitable definition for this particular terminology that you come across when you're dealing with the carbon emissions? Try to give answer. Okay, Rama is the first to answer. Let's wait for others to read all the 4 options carefully and give the correct answer. Take your time, but try to give the correct answer. This terminology was discussed. So before knowing much about that, first of all you should know what is carbon sequestration, or what do you understand by that. So 3 people have answered. Okay, many answers are there, and all of you have understood this particular terminology very well, and there is no confusion with it. So all of you have answered for or voted for option number C, that is capturing and storing atmospheric carbon dioxide, and all of you are absolutely correct. This carbon sequestration refers to the same, and this helps us to reduce the CO2 levels in the atmosphere by storing it in the forest or other sinks. So all of you are correct. Let's move to the next question, question number 9 then. Here is question number 9. What is one of the suggested solution for just transition in India's low carbon economy? Yeah. So when you are making the transition towards India's low carbon economy, so what can be the suggested solution to reduce the carbon emission? Question number 9. Let's see how many of you can answer. Out of the four options, so now for this question I'm getting different answers, but only single answer is correct. Farid is going for option C and Anuja is going for option A. For low carbon economy, which is more important? Decreasing solar investment has been answered by two of you. So try to understand when you will be decreasing the solar investment on solar energy or solar PV or solar thermals, when you will be decreasing the investment in those areas, or to this decreasing the investment in renewable energy areas, solar energy areas, so it will be whether supporting the low carbon economy or it will be not supporting it. It is not increasing solar investment, it is decreasing solar investment. So whether it will be going towards high carbon economy or it will be going towards low carbon economy, based on your understanding, try to give your final answer. Let me see for which option you are opting for. 9C, 9A, 9A. So 9A is not the correct answer, that I wanted to say. 9C is the correct answer for this question, because as you can see, when you will be cutting the forest as per option B, then the carbon forests are referred as the carbon sink. They store the carbon from the atmosphere. Also, so it cutting the forest won't be supporting the low carbon economy. Similarly, increasing the coal uses will also be not supporting low carbon economy, and decreasing the solar investment, it is basically saying that when you are investing much on the fossil fuel side, then also the carbon economy will increase. It will be not supporting towards making transition towards the low carbon economy. But if you can reskill or upskill the workforce, so by preparing the workforce with new skills, that is essential for take care of the green jobs or take care of the various renewable energy technologies, so they can directly or indirectly support to the low carbon future. Is it correct? Option C is the correct answer. Everybody is fine? Okay. So now all of you have understood. Then let's move to the next question then. Who is there? No one. I thought someone wants to join. So based on that, let's move to the then lecture 3. Lecture 3, there are only 4 lectures that you have studied in week 2. So we are going towards the sample problems of lecture 3 that can be formulated. Here is the first question of week 2, lecture 3. What is the most accurate definition of embodied carbon according to World Green Building Council? What do you understand by embodied carbon? So this is very popular terminology: embodied carbon, operational carbon, carbon emission, greenhouse emission. So try to give your answer. What do you understand, or what is the definition of embodied carbon as per World Green Building Council, which is also referred sometimes as WGBC? Let's see how many of you can understand and give the answer. Anyone wants to give answer, then they can mention their answer in the chat box. Then we will be discussing it. If some, you will be having the different answers. Since now only two people have answered, others also try to answer who knows the answer or who can understand the definition of embodied carbon. Okay, so let's see, because in 1 minute time only I am giving. Based on that, for this question number, which was the question number? Question number first. How many of you have answered? Yeah. So see, I can see everyone has gone for Rama, Anuja. Everyone has gone for option C except Rajesh. Fine. So option C is the correct answer for this question. Let me discuss it. Like there are two kinds of emissions, as it was explained in the lecture also: embodied carbon emission and operational carbon emissions. So embodied carbon emissions are the emissions which come across or which occurs due to the extraction, due to the manufacturing, due to the transportation to the construction site. And operational carbon emission or building operation, whatever the carbon emission is happening during the building operation, they are referred as operational carbon emissions. They occur due to the utilization of HVAC systems mainly. So option A is absolutely incorrect. It is talking about completely different direction, and it is not talking about the emissions. It is talking about the energy used. It is not talking about the emissions. So option C, whoever has opted, like greenhouse gas emissions from material construction process, which is referred as embodied carbon. It is the correct answer. So now it is fine. All of you have got the point. What I mean to make you understand from this question. Can we move to the next question? Okay. So then here is the second question in front of you all. We have given the correct answer and understood it well. Yeah. Second question. Is it visible? Second question is visible to all of you. Let's see it is visible or not. Yeah, it's visible, and many of you have already given the answer as well. Okay, let's wait for 1 more minute for others to give answer. This is very common but very important one, that what does this CO2e, that was also discussed in the previous sample problem also. Whenever you will be dealing with carbon greenhouse emissions, embodied carbon emissions, so you will be going through this term again and again. So it was also discussed in the previous week lecture series, and this week also I want to make you understand about this, that CO2e, what does it stands for. So let's see how many of you know it clearly without any doubt. Yeah, so all of you, they have opted for option B, carbon dioxide emissions. E stands for emission, sorry, equivalent, carbon dioxide equivalent, option B. So all of you are correct. So I think it does not require much explanation. This was also discussed in the week 1 lecture, where the global warming potential concept was introduced to all of you. So all of you are correct. You have chosen the correct answer also. So let's move to the third question. Here is the third question. Which gas has the global warming potential which is also referred as GWP in short, approximately 28 times that of CO2 over 100 years of time span. So from very beginning you were answering option C for all the questions. Now choose the appropriate answer for this question as well. Let's see how many of you can recall and understand the green global warming potential concept very well. So till now, three of you have given answer, and I'm waiting for others also to participate in this problem solving session and give their views. Okay, the fourth one also we got. Okay, so as it is very transparent, and as all of you can see that all of you whoever have given the answer, they have opted option B, and option B is the correct answer in the literature. Some of the literatures they are considering it as a 24, somebody is considering as a, means it is a range, it is a range of 24 to 28, something like that. That's why when it is methane gas, then it has the global warming potential of 28 is the correct answer for this question, question number 3, and all of you have given the correct answer as well. It was well discussed in the class as well. So let's move to the fourth question then. Which of the following process is not part of the embodied carbon cycle? Yeah, so embodied carbon cycle includes which of the processes and which not. So which has not been considered under embodied carbon cycle, that has to be eliminated. So particular option you have to choose which doesn't come under embodied carbon estimation or embodied carbon cycle. Somebody has answered for question 5. Okay, he has corrected. Several answers I have received. As I can see, I've received several answers. Okay, so let me admit, after 1 hour of class, let me admit to the ninth member. Some of the questions are left, so she might be joining for the next 1 hour. Let me admit. Hmm. Where she went? No, she left. Fine. As I can see, most of the people or all of you, yeah, all of you have given option C. Yeah, so option C is the correct answer. It, other options, option A, option B, option D, like raw material extraction, construction, and transportation, they all come under embodied carbon cycle, but option C doesn't come under embodied carbon emission. So can anybody answer in the chat box? This option C come under which carbon cycle? Let's see who knows the answer. that option C does not come under embodied carbon emission cycle, that is for sure, but it comes under which carbon cycle? That is the next question. So from the audience I can see they are very clear that it is not embodied carbon emission, it is operational carbon, that's why it has not been included. So you all of your concepts are very good. So I think that's enough discussion on this particular question. Let's move to the next question then, the question number 5. Here is question number 5. Why we are using, or what is the purpose of using the, again let me admit, okay. So we are solving some of the simple problem questions. Then we are in the lecture 3 of week 2. Then we will be solving some simple problem question for lecture 4 of week 2. Then we will move into the important previous year assignment questions. There are 10 previous year assignment questions, like this year also you are giving the assignment questions and answers. So that also was given in the previous year, that also we will be discussing at the end of the session. So be with us and try to participate and give answers to the questions that have been projected in the chat box. So here is the next question. I hope the question is visual to all of you. Try to give your answer. Here is the 5th question. These all are from lecture 3. How many of you know the answer for this question number B? If it would have been asked in your exam, how many of you can answer it correctly? Let's see how many your concept is strong. Global warming potential, what does it basically states, or for what purpose this particular terminology has been given, or what is the significance of global warming potential? What does it signify? Okay, I have received several answers for this question number 5. As others who have not answered, they can see also that I have received a first answer from Anuja. She was the first, and then Rama, then Farid. All of them are opting option number B, and all of them are correct for this question number 5. That the significance of global warming potential is that it helps us to compare the heat trapping potential of different gases. Yeah, they are absolutely correct. So can we move to the next question? This question is very clear from the name itself. I don't think we can have much discussion. Can we move to the, yes? So here is the next question then, if you are fine. Here is the 6th question. Which of the following is true about upfront carbon emissions? So upfront carbon emission word also you might have studied in the week 2 lectures. So which is true about it? Which is a true statement about upfront carbon emissions? So Anuja, again she has given the answer. She's very fast. Let's wait for others also. What do they think about this question number 6? Rama has also given the answer. I will disclose and discuss the answer with all of you soon once I receive the answers of everyone. Yeah, so in the lecture 3 it was well discussed, and all of you who have given the answer, they have well understood as well, like option number C for this question number 6, that is all the carbon emissions that have been emitted before the building use, that are referred to as upfront carbon emission. So option C is the correct answer for this question number 6. All of you are correct. So let's move to the next question then. Seventh question. End of life carbon emissions include all the following except. So this time Rama was the first to answer. He's asked, but he is correct or not? Let's see. Let's wait for others also to give their opinion on this question number 7. This is just the conceptual understanding of all of you about the upfront carbon emission, embodied carbon emission, or operational carbon emission, or end of life carbon emission. If you understood all these terminologies very well, then easily you will be able to give answer to this question if it have been asked. So this is a single objective answer. So some of you have answered okay, he has corrected. Otherwise, I was getting two answers. So the different stages were shown in the picture slide. In the slide, when it was explained, different stages were shown: stage 1, stage 2, stage C, stage D, like that. So it was the option D which is mentioned here. It was falling under stage B, as you can recall, and I can see many of you who are there who have understood the concept. They have given the answers D, and saying that option D is the correct answer. Like day-to-day maintenance does not fall under end of life carbon emissions, except that all of the three options they can fall under end of life carbon emissions, but option D does not. They are correct. So let me ask another question. This day-to-day maintenance come under which kind of carbon emission? This is my next question for them who have given answer 7th D. They are correct, I agree. But then the next question is, this day-to-day maintenance comes under which carbon emission category? Give your answers in the chat box. Let's see who is more clear. Yeah, don't put B1, B2, B3. Just try the terminology which, like Rajesh has typed. I think he is going towards and supporting that it is operational carbon. Yeah, and he is absolutely correct. This day-to-day life maintenance, this is the part of operational carbon, not end of life carbon. Fine. So let's move to the next question then. Question number 8. Here is the question number 8. This is a bit tricky question, but whenever you will be going for life cycle assessment, so it is not always possible to do life cycle assessment. It consists of huge data and in-depth analysis. So in short, or in shorter version, some people also try to do another analysis or another tool they utilize, which is the shorter version of life cycle assessment. You can say that it is a shorter version, not detailed, but it is appropriate. Let's see how many of you can answer. Like last time, all of you have opted option D. This time, whether all of you are opting for same option or they are opting for different answers. So all of you have given your answers. Anyone wants to add their answers, or should I disclose? Yeah, as I can see, only three people have given the answer. Ranuja was the first, and all of them have opted option B as the correct answer. And as I can see, option B, which is saying environmental product declaration. Yeah, this environmental product declaration is the correct answer for this question number 8. They are absolutely correct, whoever has given option D for this question number 8, because this EPD, it is a concise standardized document derived from the LCA results. It is used for communicating environmental impacts of product without disclosing sensitive information. It is a shorter version of, you can say, the concise and standardized document derived from the LCA results. All of you are correct. So let's move to the next lecture. That was the last lecture of week 2, lecture 4. So whoever have studied lecture 4 in depth and understood the concept, they will be easily able to answer to the sample problem questions of this lecture series. Here is the first question for you all. This is the last lecture as well of week 2, so try to participate this one as well. Here is the first question. What percentage of global annual carbon dioxide emission is attributed to, someone wants to join or what? Okay. So all of you give your answers. So based on the discussion that ma'am had made, try to give your answers. Let me see how many of you can give the correct answer. Others also try to add your answer so that we can move to the next question easily. This is based on the last lecture of week 2, and in that when we will be looking, then in the third slide, in the third slide itself, ma'am has explained through with the help of two pie charts what percentage of annual carbon dioxide emission attributed to the built environment. So I don't think any one of you have given the correct answer till now. Let's see. All of you have opted option B. So option B is not the correct answer for this question. Actually it was let me correct it. Actually it was 37%. When you are talking about emissions, then it was 30%, 37%, but the nearest option to that answer is about approximately, you can say it as a 40%, or you can edit it as well. So 37% is the correct answer. Option C is the correct answer for this question. It's not the option that you all of you are selecting, that is option B. Option B is not the correct answer. It was 37% actually, but if you will round off a nearby value, if you will opt, then it will be nearly 40%. Or for the more concise answer, you can know that it is was the 37% of the global annual carbon dioxide emissions attributed to the built environment. So it is fine. Can we move to the next question? Okay. So here is the second question then. Yeah. Try to give answer to the second question. Which of the following activities is associated with operational carbon in buildings? So we have discussed it in the previous questions as well. So I don't think that this one, yeah, this one I don't think you will be now after reading the lectures, then preparing the assignment of week 2, then discussing it here in several questions, sample problem questions. I don't think any one of you will be now not able to give answer to this question number second if it would have been asked in the exam. All the concepts and all the discussion have been done already. That is capable to produce answer for this question number 2. All of you try to participate and give your answer to this question number C. I want all of you to give the correct answer at least, because we are ending towards the, we are approaching towards the end of the this lecture series or week 2 lecture series sample problem question. This is the last chapter of this. So 3 of you have answered till now, as I can see. Others also try to give your answer. What do you understand or what do you think, which activities are associated with operational carbon in buildings? Let's see the answers of all. So till now whether you have built the concept or till now you are not. Yeah, so every one of you have opted option C, and option C is the correct answer for this question number 2. That is, whatever the HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, lighting, etc., these we are utilizing during the operational period of the building, they come under the operational carbon emissions. Fine, all of you correct. That's good to know. So let's move to the third question then. So when you will be performing the life cycle assessment, then you will be going through these terms: cradle to cradle, cradle to gate, cradle to grave. So these particular terminology have some specific meaning. So if you have understood this LCA very well, then you must be able to answer to this question number 3, that what does cradle to grave refers to. All of you read all the 4 options and try to give the most appropriate answer in the chat box. All of you, 8 participants, 9, I think 9 have enrolled today till now. Maybe at the end some of you may also enter. I'm waiting for others also, so that it should not like we are only going with the 1 or 2 bright students. So waiting for others also to give your answers. We are giving, yeah, we have received one more answer then. Fine, before disclosing the answer I am waiting for 1 minute for each question. Just 1 minute is more than enough to answer. As I can see, I have received several answers from the audience, and all of them, whoever have answered except Gayatri, they have given or they have chosen option C. So except Gayatri has chosen option D. So let me discuss this question. So with basically cradle explains to the beginning process, and the grave like refers to the end of life. when everything has been done, so it is going towards the grave. So these are the two gates of life cycle assessment, from cradle to grave, from beginning to end, you can say. So when you are doing cradle to grave analysis, so it will be the life cycle assessment starting from the material extraction, from where the starting has been done for all the building construction. First of all, the extraction was done, then manufacturing, then transportation, then operation, then transport to the dumping yard, then demolition. All these get inside this cradle to grave analysis. That's why option C is the correct answer for this question number 3, and other options which are just considering only one phase, these all are included under option C. So option C is the correct answer. Who have mentioned option D, this is not the correct answer. So it is now clear to all of you. Then we can move to the next question. Is it clear? Okay, fine. So here is the next question then. It's good to know that your concepts are getting brushed up. Here is the fourth question. Why is embodied carbon is considered an urgent issue? By several countries, they are focusing on reducing the embodied carbon. This is the urgent issue of the two. Someone wants to join or give an answer? Okay, someone has given the answer. Yeah, she is the first to give the answer. Let's see. So let's see how many of you can read each of the options carefully, and it will be good to choose the most appropriate and the correct answer. Take your time. Someone who wants to contribute and give your answer, you can text in the chat box. Otherwise, we are going to discuss the question. Okay, I think we have received only 3 answers. As all of you can see, we received only 3 answers out of the participants, and rest of they are not confident. Fine. So Anuja was first to answer this question and understand it very fast. And others also, they have given the answer with 1 minute time span. And they all of them have opted for option C, as I can see. So option C is the correct answer for this question number 4. That is, embodied carbon is the urgent need or urgent issue for the world today because it is released upfront and cannot be reduced later. It simply means that the operational energy or the operational phase, there we can somehow utilize or lower down our demand, or we can use energy efficient bulbs or energy efficient appliances or energy efficient technologies or HVAC system, whatever you can say. But it's difficult to reduce the upfront carbon emission or the embodied carbon emissions that is released, because it is coming in the during the transportation, during the extraction of the material. These processes, it is very difficult to decrease the embodied carbon emissions as compared to the operational carbon emissions. That's why it is an urgent issue as compared to the other carbon cycles or the other carbon emissions. Is it clear? Option C. Yeah. So Rajesh is fine. So let's move to the next question. It is clear then. No one is raising the concern. Everybody is supporting or okay with option C. So here is the fifth question then for all of you. Try to give answer to the fifth question as well. What percentage of carbon and greenhouse emissions are attributed? So this greenhouse emissions, I have already explained in the previous question. If you are able to recall, then it's fine. Otherwise, take it as a fresh question and answer. In the first question also, we have explained whether how much the emissions were there. In this, only the embodied carbon emissions have been added with greenhouse emissions. That greenhouse emissions portion we have already covered. So that will be helpful if you have understood or were the part of the discussion session of question number 1. Then you can easily answer to this question number 5th. And as I can see, who has answered it correctly. So here Anuja and Rajesh, they are the winner of this particular question and they have answered it correctly. And Farid has answered A. So for him, I would like to explain, like A is not the correct answer. Like in our previous question number 1. Here also we have discussed what percentage of greenhouse emissions or carbon dioxide emissions it was coming to the built environment. Okay, it was referring to the built environment, and it is also referring to the buildings only. So from here onwards, you can see option A is not at all nearby to the previous question that we have discussed. It was 37%, nearby 37%. But option A that you have opted is 25%, 30%, and other options 10%, 11%, 45%. These are not the appropriate answers. So approximately or the most suitable option is option B. Is it fine now? If it is fine, Farid, then we can move to the next question. Okay, thank you for your reply. So let's move to the next question then. Here is the sixth question. To the following bio-based material, this is very important, and some of the assignment problem is also based on this bio-based material concept. So this bio-based material concept have been discussed in the fourth lecture. So before answering to the assignment question, also try to revise the concept of bio-based materials and understand the beauty of it, and try to answer to the question that they can reduce the embodied carbon in the buildings. That's for sure. So which of the following material come under bio-based materials? Out of the four material named have been given here. Out of the four named given here, bio-based, as the name itself suggests, it will be having some sort of natural thing or some sort of decomposable thing. Bio-based materials. I hope all of you will be able to answer it correctly. Let's see. AAAC. So option A, whoever have marked, it is the correct answer for this particular question number 6. That is timber. You can basically say all the bio-based materials, they are bamboo or timber, they come under bio-based materials which have lower embodied carbon emissions, and sometimes they are also having good carbon storing potential. So that's why it is referred as a source or the material to reduce the embodied carbon in the buildings if it is constructed with such kind of materials. Other materials as compared to the first option, they are having high carbon emissions. That's why option A, as I can see, most of you have opted, it is the correct answer. Option A, cross laminated timber. Can we move to the next question? Everybody is fine? Okay. So here now I will be asking some of the full forms. So you have gone through several small short terms in the lecture series. So let's see how many of you know the full form of those as well, or they can remember the full forms of this important terminologies. Here is the first question for you then. What is the full form of LULUCF? Sometimes if you don't know the answer, then also sometimes from the option itself you can understand which is the most appropriate, which is the correct answer for this question. So try to understand from the options also if you are not knowing the answer, because your objective kind of question sometimes you will get the hint from there also instead of getting blank. It is the first question. Anyone who wants to add? Manuja has not given answer. Fine. She is in dilemma. Others, two people have opted for option B, and one has opted for option C. Okay. So let me disclose the answer then for you all. Only three of you are participating or are confident. So the correct answer for this question number 1, it is option B. So most of you have opted option B only, that is land use change and forestry. Option B, it is the correct answer, because this LULUCF accounts for carbon sinks and emissions from the management and the forestry. So that's why, as I can see, most of you have already opted option B. So all of you are correct. And who have not opted option C, so let me correct them, and they can mark the correct answer for future reference. Fine. Can we move to the next question? Okay. So here is the second question then. It is also the full form IPCC. This IPCC is very important terminology. What does it stands for? If you know the full form of IPCC, then you try to recall and give the answer in the chat box. IPCC. Any one of you who wants to give their answers, they can give their answers in the chat box. So I have received the first answer, but I may yeah, see, in the full forms none of means I should not say none, most of you are in doubt, means I'm getting the different answers. It means you are not clear, so it's good to discuss the full forms here, so that in the exam or in the future you should be at least able to recall and not make mistakes. What does IPCC stands for? So as I can see, what option you people are opting, again the same algebra, like two people are going for A and one is going for C. Fine. So the correct answer for this question number 2 is C, not A. This IPCC refers to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which was well answered by Farid. And this IPCC is the UN body which is responsible for assessing the science related to climate change, which is discussed in the slide 10 of part 1, basics of embodied and operational carbon. Title of the lecture was. So it is fine, it is option C. So if you are fine and if you are okay, then we can move to the next question then. Can we move? Okay. So here's the third question then. What is the full form of EPD? That you must be knowing, because several questions we have discussed related to EPD. That for full form of EPD, or what does EPD stands for, that answer you can also give repeatedly, because we have discussed it several times. As you can see, most of you, yeah, this was very easy question because since we have discussed it earlier also, and most of you have opted option B. There is no more doubt in this answer. Everybody's answer is same and it is correct as well. So EPD refers to the environmental product declaration. Fine. So let's move to the next question then. Question number 4. What is the full form more for what is WBLCA stands for? WBLCA. LCA you might be knowing, all of you. But WBLCA, what does it refers to? Let's see how many of you can understand. In the last lecture slide also this was discussed, WBLCA. So let's see how many of you have already answered and they are very clear. As I can see, yeah, most of you have answered and most of you have opted option B, that is whole building LCA. You are saying WBLCA refers to the whole building LCA, means the whole building life cycle assessment. Yeah, you all of you are absolutely correct. Option B is the correct answer for this question. And this WBLCA, it helps us to evaluate the total environmental impact of a building throughout the life. That's fine. That is the importance. If somebody may ask what is the importance of WBLCA, then you can say that WBLCA, that is a whole building life cycle assessment, it helps us to evaluate the total environmental impact of a building throughout the life or throughout its life. Fine. So with this the sample problem series has ended. Now we will practice to the last, or the last 10 question I should say, that are the previous year assignment question of week 2. Last previous year assignment question of week 2. Here we will be practicing it and discussing it among ourselves, and I hope based on the several questions from each lecture of week 2 we have discussed today, you all will be able to give the correct answers to the previous year assignments, which are very important question. And these are only 10 questions, and with the last 10 questions we will be ending our problem solving session for the today. So let me project the first question, then we will be completing this question within 20 minutes so that all of you can complete the answer and go on time. Here is the first question. Which country in the world contributes to the maximum global warming? So there was one chart which was shown to you all, where the global warming of each country was stated. So which was the top, which was the maximum? You have to recall it and you have to answer it. Let's see how many of you can answer. Yeah, as I can see, everybody is now able to answer to the question and able to recall and understand. So this is something called visual memory. So you have seen the chart, you have understood it, and you are able to visualize it. That option A, all of you have answered option A. What is option A? It is United States. Yeah, US. So in the chart that was shown to you, out of the all the several countries, United States was historically been the largest contributor to the cumulative greenhouse gas emissions due to its long industrial history, you can say, or the higher per capita emissions. Because of two reasons, it was the highest, US. So all of you are correct and given the correct answer. So let's move to the second question of the assignment then. Here is the second question. The economic aspects of low carbon development include source of finance, linkages to the international trades, low carbon development needs, or the last option, all of the above. This was asked in the previous year assignment. This is the second question of previous year assignment. There are 10 questions, so I want all of you to participate actively for the last 10 questions of the session and give your answers. So many of you have answered. Let me see what you people have opted, whether you are able to understand or not. Yeah, so I can see most of you have given the answer and most of you have given the right answer. Even all of you have given the right answer, option D, that is all of the above. Whenever you will be talking about the economic aspects of the low carbon development, then you will have to include source of finance, its linkage to the international trades, and carbon development needs. All of these becomes important, and low carbon development affects several economic domains including country specific development needs as well. So I think everybody is okay with the answer. Let's move to the third question then. Here is the third question. Which of the following technologies assist in lowering carbon? Here is the third question for all of you. Try to give answer to the third question. I hope all of you will be able to understand and give the correct answer. So I think now it's time to disclose the answer and see how many of you are 100% correct with the previous year assignment question. So D, yeah. So all of you have opted option D, and it is all of the above, which means all the technologies that have been mentioned here, like biofuel, nuclear energy, and hydrogen economy. All these technology, they are considered as low carbon or low or carbon neutral alternatives to the fossil fuels, and they will be helping in lowering or reducing the greenhouse gas emissions. Correct. So let's move to the fourth question then. Here is the fourth question. India's emission intensity of GDP between 2005 to 2016 is, what do you think? And this question we have discussed in a sample problem as well as similar question. So from 2005 to 2016, whether the India's emission intensity has increased or reduced or is zero or remains the same. Now I am getting different answers. Now I am getting different answers. So others who wants to change their answers and give the final, they can give, because only one option is the correct one. That's why I want all of you to always read the question carefully and then answer to it. So out of all the answers that I have received for this particular question number 4, I can say only Farid, he is the he has given the correct answer. Rest of you have given opted option A, that is incorrect, because try to understand the question that it is asking India's emission intensity from, considering 2005 as a base case, you can see, or from 2005 to 2016, whether it has increased, reduced, zero, or remains the same. So it has reduced. The correct answer is it has reduced, because India has successfully reduced the emission intensity of its GDP during this period due to the increased energy efficiency, you can say, because earlier we were using incandescent light, or we were using the fossil fuels, but year by year, with the shift towards the cleaner energy sources, we have reduced our emission intensity of GDP. So option B is the correct answer for this particular question. With the improvement in the technology, with the improvement in the energy efficiency, and moving towards the cleaner energy technologies, we have reduced the emissions as compared to 2005. It is fine for everyone. Can we move to the next question, question number 5? Okay, so then here is question number 5 for all of you. Between 2015 to 2016, the forest and tree cover in India, what do you think? The forest and tree cover in India, all these things have been discussed in the week 2 lectures. So try to recall, then observe, then give your answers. Don't give the answers blindly, because yeah, as I can see, most of you are giving the right answer for this question. As I can see, most of you have given the correct answer for this question, and the correct answer is option B. That is, if you will go towards the question, then you will be able to understand that between 2000 to 2015 to 2019, the forest and the tree cover in India has increased, because this is mainly because of the afforestation efforts and the policy measures, and this is the official reports which was given by the Forest Survey of India, that there is a net increment in the tree cover or the forest. So whoever or most of you have already opted option B, they are absolutely correct. So mark this answer for future. Let's move to the next question, question number 6. This was also asked in the previous year assignment questions, and try to give answer whether you will be able to give answer to this question. Question number capturing, it is both capturing as well as storing. It's not only storing, but that to be done in nature. Fine. So let's see how many of you have given the correct answer and understood it. Yeah, as I can see, most of you have opted option D, 6D, and 6D is the correct answer for this question. And we have already discussed the definition of carbon sequestration, that carbon sequestration is the process of capturing and storing CO2 in natural reservoirs like forests, soil, oceans, to mitigate the climate change. That's why option D is the correct answer, and all of your concepts are correct. Let's move to the seventh question. Yeah, this also we have practiced a lot in our sample problem, so if it would have been asked in the exam or previous year assignment, then you can easily answer. Let's see how many of you can still make mistake for this question, or how many of you can answer it correctly. Embodied carbon includes. These have been discussed several times. That's why this is called sample problems, because sample problems is nothing just the discussion of the concepts, small concepts that you have studied in the tutorials. Let's see how many of you have answered then. I think several discussions we have made for this thing, and several times have no, all of you have given the correct answer. Option C. None of you are in doubt, or none of you are having any kind of misunderstanding about the concept of embodied carbonate list. So it is both option A and option B, which includes both extraction of material as well as transport to the factory. Fine. Let's move to the next question, question number 8. Then try to give answer to this question as well. So looking to the this previous year assignment question, you might be thinking that this thing, I know it is very easy. So this is only because of the continuous effort of you all, because you have gone through the lectures in detail, then you have done the assignment, then you have understood the concept, and you are revising the concept in this problem solving sessions. Again and again you are repeating the concept, discussing the definitions, and learning from your mistakes. Then it becomes easier for you, because revisions are also very important. So let's see how many of you can answer to this question correctly. Yeah, let's see. Here, as you all can see, everyone is opting option D, which is the correct answer. That means it is very clear. You are now capable, and your preparation for this particular week 2 lecture is okay. So let's move to the next question. In one go, you can opt for this answer as well. So this kind of questions was asked in the previous year, and similar kind of question will be asked in the final year examination as well. So if your preparations are up to the mark, then every question will be okay and under your range only. It will seem to be easier if you practice much. It is just practice and hard work of you only. So let's see meanwhile how many of you have answered. Yeah, see, all of you are opting the correct answer in one go. So don't think any further discussion is needed for this question. That is option D, all of the above. For reducing the embodied carbon energy, all renovate the building, don't build the new ones, because new one again it will lead to the extraction, then transport, then manufacturing, reuse and retrofit. This is the strategies you can opt for reducing the embodied carbon at least. All of you are in right direction. Then let's move to the last question of the today's problem solving session. Here is in front of you all. This is a fill in the blanks type of question, or the optional question you can also say. All of you try to give answer. Yeah, as I can see all of you. So it hardly takes a minute to answer to the previous year assignment questions for you. So similarly, if you have revised the concept, let me see how many of you have answered first. sorry, here. Yeah, you can see everybody has opted option C, which is the correct answer for this question. That is biomaterials, bio-based materials. Sometimes you can say, which is typically has lower upfront embodied carbon. These materials are bamboo that we have discussed, straw, timber, that have lower embodied carbon as they require less energy to produce or can store CO2 during their growth. So these all things we have already discussed, and you can see how easily you have completed the previous year assignment questions. So similarly with today's session, I hope all the concept related to the problem solving session related to the week 2 lecture series we have discussed, and I hope all of you have learned a lot from this. And with this, I would like to end today's problem solving session for all of you. And thank you all for joining the session and making the session an interactive one and successful one and completing it on time. Thank you all. And I hope this is useful for all of you for your course. Thank you. And we will be meeting similarly on same timings from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. for discussing the lectures, question sample problems and assignment problem questions in the problem solving session that will be happening on the next Tuesday. All I will be thankful if all of you can join and make the next session as well the similar successful one. Thank you all, and all of you can end. I am ending the meeting for all of you.